this what do you call it, our will and our pledge that we will not go any Sunday without the program. So I'm here again, back to the Shitalath conversation, speaking from the threshold of Shitalath conversation. I, Jugal Cole, welcome you all again. And our conversation, due to its unique, innovative format, which involves the literati, the painters, the politicians, the bureaucrats, the civil servants, the artists, the musicians, the authors, and the corporate heads, and all kind of people who do come over, who are the part of this entire human intellectual, bandwagon, especially from the Kashmir or related to the Kashmir. So once again, I'm very thankful to all of you, and we I'm very grateful to the valuable guests who have been coming along since last 1 year and decorating and this wonderful program Sunday after Sunday. And we are seeing a very overwhelming response of the diaspora and the people around across the globe. And there's a really great, overwhelming and a great enthralling feeling here, and we are very committed to this for this program. This program is a apolitical, a religious program. This program is for the great civilization known as Kashmir, the cathedral of Indian civilization, cathedral, and the crown of Indian civilization. We are going to go through its shades, its colors, its landscape, its towns, its hamlets, its streets, its bridges, its waters, its ancient wisdoms, its medieval wisdoms, its contemporary personalities, men and matters, and all. So once again, my gratitude to all, and I regret be connecting to you very late now. I know there will be very less number of people because people start exactly at 7 p.m. for the Shitalath Conversation show. Uh, since centuries, Kashmiris have been migrating to the different parts of the undivided India in the cities like Lahore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Benares, Allahabad, Bhopal, Hyderabad, Jaipur, and many other towns and places in the princely states. And they have, by dint of their hard work and by dint of their wisdom, which they inherited from their ancestors, the thousands years of wisdom from the land of the Shiva they all belong to. Because of that, they have risen to the many eminent positions in the public life in different princely states, like the prime ministers, the courtiers, head of the states, policymakers, lawmakers, diplomats, warriors. And when India became free, all these things, this practice, this tradition of Kashmiri Pandits going to the eminent places, and this continued for more generations. And finally, we could see that in independent India, we had two prime ministers, minimum two prime ministers from this Kashmiri Pandit, Kashmiri diaspora, Kashmiri people, Kashmir people who originate from Kashmir. And then we had the diplomats, we had the generals, we had the policymakers, we had the heads of the institutions, and we had the corporate heads, and many, and especially in all the aspects of the public life. Kashmiri have shown their strength, shown their valor, shown their brilliance, shown their capacities. And we really feel overwhelmed for this particular trait of Kashmiris. Today we are going to talk about one of the illustrious sons of Mother India of 19th century, Shamboo Nath Pandit. Shamboo Nath Pandit, basically, he hails from Kashmir. His father and mother were Kashmiris, and his grandfather had migrated from Kashmir during Shah Alam's time in 1800 AD to New Delhi, and then many places till finally he went to the Calcutta. And he is a personality which is considered to be one of the most illustrious personality of 19th century, along with his great contemporaries. And he has been the one of the personalities who became the first justice, native Indian justice of British colonial rule during the time of British colonial rule. And he had been a philanthropist, a great philanthropist, a social reformer, who did Brahmo Samaj, who worked for the creation, recreation, sustenance, and development of the Brahmo Samaj. He also was the senior pleader, senior government. He's acted as a senior government leader, a prolific writer who used to write at Hindu Patriot. He was appointed as the professor at the Presidency Hindu Law College, Hindu College, as a professor of law. And then he was also nominated to the Calcutta University, I mean, as a fellow, and many organizations and institutions. His name is taken with a great reverence in the city of his Karambhumi, Calcutta. And I have been to Calcutta. Is a very loving city, a city of joy, which I call it. I have been a very frequent visitor of Calcutta. I love its artistic speed, its culture, its festivities, and its respect for each other, and the entire ambience of heritage, wonderful heritage, and the mosaic of this entire. This is unlike the other metropolis where there is a lot of rush, a lot of other things are there. So it has always been a delight to be in Calcutta, to be in my city of joy. And I remember once I was traveling, I used to do my lectures, present my lectures at Crest, Kharagpur, which is an institution of heartfulness, a retreat institution of heartfulness, very near to the IIT Kharagpur. And I used to travel during the in between Calcutta and Kharagpur in the trams. They were all jam-packed trams, and I had seen the people, they were all sitting. There was not a single small place to sit, but yet again everybody was reading a book, and irrespective of what they wear, they Calcutta people, they are into the literature, into the art, into the music. By chance, during the glimpse of my eye, I could just see at one particular point that a fellow person was reading a book of an English author in which there was a word Kashmiri. So I requested him to please lend me this book, and I read about this great personality, the first justice of Indian native justice, who hailed from Kashmir, and his stories and his whole entire enigma, his stature, the respect around his works, his contribution to the society. So I was very much overwhelmed, and I was very much, joyous, became very joyous and proud also. It gave me goosebumps, and then again, the inquisitiveness within my mind followed for a quite a time space. For a period of time, I just went around and I tried to find out who he is, from where he is, and ultimately, I could go to the Shamboo Nath Street, which was named after him, and I got went to the Brahmo Samaj place, and I went to the Kashmiri Pandit Sabha and many other places. But somewhere down the line, I actually finally found his row bungalows, which he had created probably when he was at the peak of his career, and where his two wives and their children, and generation down, they lived for generations to generations. Even one particular generations from his one wife still lives there. I had been to them, I talked to them, I had an interview with them, but unfortunately the interview was lost. It was not a very formal interview, it was just for my information. And he had two wives. Actually, they say that at the earlier stage, when he rose to the eminence, before that, he had married to a lady, and that lady prematurely died. Then he married to a Bengali lady, that was Haridasi. And as a consequence, the Kashmiri Pandit Samaj, they were very conservative, aristocrat as ever. So they tried to sever their contacts with that, Shambhunath Pandit ji. It was on the insistence of Haridasi that he had to finally marry a Kashmiri lady, Sarup Rani, who was his second wife, and they had their kids and generations together. I was further researching, and finally I found out that there is a biography of Shambhunath Pandit available. But it was in Bengali, and I could not read Bengali, so I further was a bit desperate how to find out and how to get these things translated. But someday, one fine morning, one of our personality from Calcutta Kashmiri Pandit Sabha, told me that English translation of the book is available. It will be available at the College Road, opposite that Presidency College. So I went there. There were a few copies there, so I was in a great delight. A wonderful book with an extensive research, and it was written by none other than great granddaughter of Shamboo Nath Pandit, great granddaughter of Shamboo Nath Pandit, and also his great grand son-in-law, AC AC Datta, Chinamuni Datta and AC Datta. They have both written, and it's an extensive research. They have gone to the chronicles, they have visited the mohallas, they have visited the streets from Lucknow to Calcutta. They have contacted the judges, they have taken up the material from the chronicles, which was contributed by this Justice Shambhu Nath Pandit. It was a great book. So somewhere down the line, I try to locate on them. They are slightly in a higher age. They are in the mid 80s. So very. I never wanted to. Disturb them again and again. But today, I thought that at least for the sake of it, I'll bring them into this live show so that they share with us their experiences, what they acquired during their research about the Shambhu Nath Pandit, whose they were the fifth generation, children. So today we are very fortunate to have this Chunamani and Datta and AC Datta Saab in our studio. AC Datta Saab is a very he's a cost accountant by profession, and he has stood along in complete Indian examination. He had stood first, and he had become the first position in the cost accountancy examination in his own times. He also heads many social and institutional educational institution, and he is also a social activist. And Churumani Datta is his wife, who is the great granddaughter of Shambhu Nath Pandit, has been an officer, an SSC officer of municipality, Kolkata municipality. So it is very delight and joy. I welcome them all. Let us all welcome them with great reverence and affection into the Sheetal Nath Conversation Studio. Datta Saab,
No.
ma'am, you are welcome into the Sheetal Nath Conversation Sunday evening show. Sorry, because of the hassle of this half an hour, we went around
Yes.
40 minutes ahead. And I know the great commutators of Sheetal Nath Conversation who have not connected by now because they thought the program is not there. They will connect it to afterwards, maybe in the evening, maybe tomorrow. So you are welcome into the Sheetal Nath Conversations.
Thank you very much, as because organizing such a conversation session. So we are very delightful to join you, and accordingly your viewer also. So we are very glad, as because Shambhu Pandit was such a person that he has been totally neglected, I should say. But he should be out of their way. He should come out in that way. We should do that one. So actually, we tried to our level best to come out with his biography, and
You are.
I know that yes,
Thank you very much. The photograph behind you is that of with his
yes,
apron
that
and with his entire attire of a law.
yes,
Is behind this
yeah.
Shambhu Nath Pandit. It is very beautiful
Mm.
photograph. It is on the net. It is in the social network nowadays, and people have
Mm.
colored it in a different way. I had this
Mm.
black and white as well, copy of this as well. So
Okay.
before we start, I would like to say that thank you very much for your compliment to the Sheetal Nath Conversations.
Mm.
I would like to ask because Chanmani, ma'am Datta, Mrs. Datta,
Mm.
she
Mhm.
is more comfortable with Bengali and Hindi, and you had written
Mm.
this originally in Bengali, both of you, but it is a very extensive research. I mean, it's not an ordinary research. It needs a zeal, quite a zeal. At your age, I don't know when did you write this book. At your age, it is
Mm.
very difficult. Even at my age, in the we are in the middle age, and it's very difficult to put on such a firing
Mm.
hard work. And let me know what actually inspired you to do this, and how easy it was to think about this idea because I know the Shamboo Nath Pandit had a great tree of generations, descendants.
Mm.
You know,
Yes,
I mean, there are Saruprani's children in Lucknow and
yes.
Patna and somewhere else, and you and
Mm.
the this
Calcutta.
Haridasi's children, the
Mm.
branch with so many children around and fifth generation children. But nobody ever had this idea of writing down a book. And
Mm.
you supported your wife because she was the great grandchild of Shambhanath Pandit.
Mm.
Before you reply to this question, I would like to ask my unko Ramani
Chinmay.
Datta ji ko, Mrs. Datta ji ko. I'm not able to pronounce
Mm.
your name. Sorry, my defect at my place. So
Mm.
आपको कैसा लगा? आप हिंदी और बंगाली बहुत अच्छा समझती है. आपको कैसा लगा? आप उस वो जो मकान है, 3-4
हाँ
मकान जो एक साथ है, वो बेंगलो अपने ज़माने के बेंगलो रहे होंगे. 200 साल
हाँ
पुरानी वो स्ट्रक्चर है. मैं भी वहाँ गया था. आई हैड बीन देयर. आई
हाँ
सॉ इट्स अ ब्यूटीफुल, वंडरफुल.
ब्यूटीफुल.
एंड आपका वहाँ जीवन में वहाँ लगाव कैसा था? कैसा महसूस होता था? और शंभूनाथ
वहाँ
पंडित आपके दिमाग में कैसे आया कि उसके बारे में रिसर्च करें? इतने सारे ढेर सारे कज़िन्स हैं आपके, किसी के दिमाग में नहीं आया और देशवासियों
दिमाग
के
पे
दिमाग में नहीं.
मेरा आया इसलिए कि मेरा बाबूजी एक दिन
Father.
बहुत दुख किया, बताया कि जो देखो सब कोई के लिए बताता है, लेकिन शंभूनाथ जी के लिए तो कोई कुछ नहीं बोलता है. तो मैं तब बाबूजी को कहती कि बाबूजी मैं करूंगी. तो वो हो गया जिस बरसात से. मुझे मालूम नहीं कैसा हुआ, ये मिस्टर डॉक्टर नहीं होने से मेरा होता नहीं कभी.
Yes, yes. हाँ, हाँ,
Commitment to his, commitment to her father.
that's very fine. So,
But my attraction, actually, if you ask me, what is my attraction? As because I'm outside the family, फिर भी. So actually, he is one of the he is a diasporist, and
okay.
actually, I am also. I am from Bangladesh, and from my
Arey, wow.
childhood,
That is from
that
the
is
day,
why.
that is from the place of this apna, what do you call it? Bimal Roy, Bimal Da. He also talks about Bangladesh.
Yes,
The Hindus
yes.
lived there. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So actually, that is why I was very much interested about him also. From the very, very awkward situation, he come out like anything. It cannot be compared to other who were eminent at that time. But he has done it. That is the main attraction. And the person who is meager amount was earning in his early age, but he was the top earners in Calcutta High Court, but at that time Diwani Sadar Adalat. So it is very attractive to me that how this person come from that position to this position. So it has attracted me. And for this purpose, I visited Lucknow at least 4 or 5 times, and I had visited Delhi archive. I have visited Allahabad. I have visited Banaras. I have so many places, and National Library. Here, at least a dozen of old libraries we had visited and gone through it. At least 4 or 5 years we have worked together to know something about Samuna. But there are many things yet to be unearthed. So I would request you on behalf of Samunath Sriti Raksha Committee, if it can be further developed, we should be grateful. As because we are aged one, so newly we can't start a new way. But if
Yes.
somebody come out, that is very much attractive. That will be very much attractive for us. That is why we have come for this biography, write of this
And
biography.
who are the men and matters who helped you in during
Hmm.
your process of research? Because it's a very extensive research. It's not possible.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's not
Uh,
manually possible even by the young
No,
people.
not on the. Actually, first we had visited the Calcutta library, Central Library, so National Library, and there generally, actually, we have received the advice of some good person. They have, to some extent, taught us how to proceed. That is one. And Chittatosh Mukherjee, he is the brother-in-law of Shama Prasad. Sorry, yeah, elder brother's son,
Hmm.
Bhatija, Mr. Chittatosh Mukherjee. He has advised me also how to proceed on. In that way, there are so many literature literature person, as well as of different corners. In High Court also, we had visited so many
Sunita,
person, and one Kerry librarian. He is also a very, very learned person. He has advised me
Sunil
also how
Chatterjee.
to, Sunil Chatterjee, how to proceed on. In that way, dhire dhire we have learned. We are not basically researchers, but we become researcher to write of this book. So it takes much more time, which should be can be reduced if proper guideline if you would receive. However, it has been done, but it can be developed further.
Yes, that's a great
Mm.
certainly I think it needs
Mm.
a further development. But I think the basis and analysis, the basic the contour which you have created
Mm.
over, and
Mm.
if we dig a bit deep and we have a support system, I think we can go on and on, and
Yes.
especially we can just you know document the chronicles written by him on the law and on the his writings, his treatises
Mm.
on this patriot, Hindu patriot, and in his role
Mm.
as a Brahmo Samaj, his role as a
Yes.
widow child and as a reformist, as a
Mm.
philanthropist also.
Yes.
So there are many
Yes.
aspects of this great personality, and he was respected by everyone. And Tagore's
Yes.
father was his contemporary, I knew.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
let
Yes.
us before we reach to there. Calcutta is a beautiful city, and
Mm.
Calcutta gave his it was his Karam Bhumi, and he
Mm.
explored. He was a Kashmiri by origin, and he lived in Calcutta. So he was a Bengali as well as Kashmiri. Both have the
Mm.
similar traits, or eating habits are the same, and there are many things which
Mm.
are very common with us. And
Yes.
please let me. I want to really understand his journey. I heard that his grandfather Mansa Ram had
Mm.
migrated around 1800 AD from
Mm.
Kashmir, and then he went to Delhi and Ayodhya, and then Lucknow, and then Calcutta. I want to
Mm.
people want to know, because you are a biographer, original
Mm.
biographer. People
Mm.
want to know about this whole
Mm.
how they started and what was the entire strategy to move, and what they did along with, and how these the genealogy followed one after
Yes.
the
Yes.
another, the children, the other things as well.
Mm. Actually, we had visited the Kashmiri Samaj also actually in Salt Lake, and I
Yeah.
have got some literature over there also, and I have read out
Okay.
all those things. And day after day, I had went there, and
Okay.
from that, the actually about the if you like to know about a person, some background should also be known. Perhaps you already
Yes.
know about the Kashmir, but actually, at the
Yeah.
time of going through, at the time of going through,
Kashmiri history is known by all Kashmiris very well.
yes,
We all know
yes,
our history, our seven migrations, everything, and
yes,
our all
yes,
Kashmiri brothers in Valley. But
yes.
one thing is there. Certainly, I would love to. Hear it from a person who belonged to the same place where Bimal Roy ji lived. Where once upon a time
Mm-hmm.
we were the landlords. Like in Kashmir, we were the landlords. एंड बिमल रॉय
हाँ,
उसकी वो पोइम मुझे याद आती है, वो गाना याद आता है, दिल
हाँ,
की
हाँ,
कहानी छोड़ जा, कुछ तो निशानी छोड़ जा, कौन
हाँ,
कहे इस
हाँ, हाँ,
और फिर तू आए ना आए.
हाँ,
So we
अब तो
really
हाई है.
will love cherish your view of Kashmir. Certainly, you can just
No, Kashmir, we have seen that before 300 years Christ, Raja Ashok was there. At that time, Buddhist, বৌদ্ধ ধর্ম
Mahayana.
was started over there. From that, ধীরে so it has become to some extent ruled by Hindu people also. And in 1341, you know, in 1341, Mr. Rincheng, इनको पूरा नाम
Renching.
सिकंदर
Yeah.
रिंचेंग
Yeah.
रिंचेंग he was a Hindu, but actually he was very much attracted by a fakir হ্যাঁ, তো সে that ফকির knows some extraordinary thing. So
Bulbul Shah, Bulbul
he,
Shah, Bulbul
Bulbul
Shah.
Shah, yeah. So that is why Shahi Bulbul Shah. So he has been very much acquainted with his speech, acquainted with his everything. So once upon a time, he has decided to be a disciple of Bulbul Shah. So he became the disciple, and accordingly, the Hindu king, Hindu Raja, converted into Muslim. From that, and by this time, if you, I mean, you know, by this time that invasion is going on Kashmir, as because it is very beautiful place from very different angle. It is very beautiful. So the actually invasion from the outside, Turkestan or Afghanistan or something Asia Minors. So there are so many invasions are there, and every time target was this is actually to Lunthon. We should say that actually they had
Robbery.
robbery, and they had killed so many Kashmiris, and 50,000 Kashmiris once
Mm.
has been taken up for dash for servant for the purpose of giving them servancy. So they had taken Banjam area में in Tushar means কি ওটাকে বলে, they had been totally destroyed, and 50,000 Kashmiri has been died in one stroke. And after that also there are so many evasion, and there are so many Kashmiris has been died, especially Pandits. तो ये जब चल रहे थे, it is when it is going on, तो
Yes, sir.
सिकंदर बुत्साक,
Good chicken.
his reign, yeah, his reign was up to 1413. At that time, his chief minister was Suhabhard. He was originally Hindu but converted into Muslim, and he was a so dangerous man, and he was so
Well,
cruel. He has at that time, at the end of his time, it is seen that only a few Kashmiri family were in Kashmir, and so it was very much shocking. So after that, due to slow progress, actually Hussein Shah Chak जब 1560 say 1570, this is going on. This was going on. So the number of Pandits, number of Hindus becomes very lower in comparison to Muslims. 18 by
Yes.
that time, by that time 1586 अकबर जब अकबर
Sound is going. Please continue. Please continue. Sound is not coming. Sound. Sound. Sound is not coming. Sound issue is there. Sound is not audible. Hello. You speak now. Speak now. No. Speak without it. Sound issue is there. Sound is not audible. Sound is not coming. Sound is not coming. You speak now. Speak now. No. Speak without it. There's an issue with the sound, probably. Sound issue is there. Sound is not coming. Sound is not coming. Speak now. Speak now. Speak without it. There's an issue with the sound, probably. साउंड इज एन इशू. साउंड नहीं आ रहा है. साउंड नहीं आ रहा है. उनको बोलिए आप इसको रिमूव कर दीजिए. इसके बगैर देखिए चेक करके. रिमूव दिस. वहां से नीचे से भी रिमूव कर दीजिए. वहां से प्लग मोबाइल से भी रिमूव कर दीजिए नीचे से. नहीं. रिमूव इट फ्रॉम द प्लग वेयर प्लग इज. या देयर इज नो वन एवर अराउंड टू हेल्प. ना कोई है ना वहां पे. उसको रिमूव कर दीजिए. Hello. Sound is not coming. There is some issue with the sound. We had this problem since half an hour, 1 hour. Is there somebody around? Someone is around there, na? Sound is not coming. Sound. Remove this from the bottom. Remove this from there. Remove from the telephone. Try to remove it from telephone as well. No, sound is not coming at all. There is something with the instrument. You try to remove the wire, complete wire. Remove the wire from instrument probably. Hello? Remove the wire from the instrument. Yeah. Sound is not coming.
Audible too?
Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Hello?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Speak, Datta Sahab, speak.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. What happens? अब इसको हिलाइए मत थोड़ा. हाँ.
No, I am not
अभी
touching it.
नहीं, थोड़ा हिलने से हो जाता है. इंस्ट्रूमेंट है ना. इंस्ट्रूमेंट का इशू होता है.
अच्छा.
चलिए आप प्लीज कंटिन्यू. आप शॉर्ट करिए.
हाँ,
एक्चुअली
ठीक है.
कश्मीर की कहानी
हाँ,
we all know about
हाँ,
Kashmir story.
you know.
You
Yes.
tell us about the Mansaram.
So around 1800. So he has
Yeah.
come. He has come out from Kashmir with his family and first Ayodhya. After that, Ayodhya. There are somebody in Ayodhya also.
Okay.
He has got some two son.
Okay.
Shiva Prasad and
Sadashiva.
Sadashiv. Sadashiv is the elder one. Yeah, Sadashiv is the elder one, and Shiva Prasad is the youngest. And actually, there is no child of Sadashiv. After birth of Shamboo Nath, actually birth of Shamboo Nath was in Calcutta. So around 1820, his birth was taking place. And after his birth, his uncle, that is Sadashiv, has taken him from his brother as a dattak. Hmm?
Okay.
So he has taken him accordingly
Adopted.
and
Adopted one. Adopted son.
adopted. Yes, 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 adopted. And after a few days, after a few years, say 2 3 years, actually Sadashiv died in cholera, and after that he has been again shifted to Shiva Prasad. So Shiva Prasad, then his health, means Somunath's health was not going okay in Calcutta. It's
Right.
due to its climate. So he has been shifted to his maternal uncle in Lucknow.
Okay.
At the age of his only 2.5, 2.5 years. When he was 2.5 years, he has been shifted to Lucknow for his health ground. And there
Okay.
he lived. There he lived up to 14 years. Up to his 14 years, there he lived. And accordingly, his maternal uncle was a very learned man, and he knows Farsi as well as Urdu very well. And he taught Somunath accordingly. And Somunath also becomes, in his very childhood, is a conversant with Farsi and Urdu language. So when he was 14, he come back to Calcutta, and here he has schooling has started over there in Calcutta. That is one school named uh, Oriental Seminary.
Oriental Seminary. Oriental
Yeah, yeah.
Seminary. He has studied in Oriental Seminary. Oriental
Orient
Seminary.
Yes,
Oriental
yes.
Seminary, the name of the school.
Okay.
Ah, so he has
Yes.
admitted into, but his age was to some extent higher in comparison to other students in the same class. However, he learned up to from class 10. After that, and up to 10, he was very much attractive to the teacher as well as to other people who are living around him. So he's actually he left Oriental. He has to left Oriental Seminary as because his father was very much interested to get him married, as because his age was more or less at that time 20. So at the age of 20, he had been given marriage,
The first
and
wife.
first marriage was done at his only 20 years of age, 1840. So after 1 year, one daughter named Maluti was born, and accordingly he is growing up. But mother of Maluti, that is first wife of Somunath, died after 1.5 years. So after that, he becomes to some extent perturbed, and his actually at that time his brother also died, and actually his uh, maternal আরেকজন কে মারা গেল, that is why his wife has already uh, gone, and her brother also gone. That is why he was very much perturbed, and his life was very disturbing. In that way, he becomes totally upset. Uh, he was residing at that time in a place named Kolutola in Calcutta, but for the for earning purpose, he is to look after some job, and he got a job also in Sador Deani Adalat. And to increase his income, he always tried how to raise income, as because one daughter is there, Mrs. is there. So he and the reduce in his family cost also, it is very much necessary. So from that area he has transferred from there to Bhavanipur. Bhavanipur was the less expensive, and at that time, so he has shifted himself into Bhubaneswar. So in
So,
that
I mean,
way, hmm,
Datta Sahab,
बताइए,
what I
हाँ
mean to
बताइए,
say is that
hmm,
basically, are you? You can look towards the front. Yeah, look towards the camera. Yeah,
hmm, hmm,
yeah.
हाँ, हाँ,
Here.
hmm, hmm,
So what I mean to say is that
hmm,
it's all right.
hmm,
Your voice is audible. Hello.
audible ना,
हाँ, it's audible. No need
हाँ,
to
हाँ,
no need to be थोड़ा इसको हिलाओ मत ज़्यादा वायर को. It will create a problem.
अच्छा,
So
अच्छा,
what I mean to
हाँ,
say is that I want to know about how they lived in Lucknow, because Lucknow, they were in the Kashmiri colony. They were in some Kashmiri
yes,
colony. They lived. His father
yes,
lived
yes,
there, and one of the
hmm,
brother came to Calcutta. And
hmm,
as you said that Shamboo Nath ji was not in a good health. He went to Lucknow till 14 years. He lived in Lucknow,
no,
and
hmm,
Lucknow was in a way his native land, because he
hmm,
had
hmm,
migrated from Lucknow to the Calcutta.
hmm,
But,
yes,
but
yes,
genetically he was a Kashmiri, and the traditions of Kashmiri, we know they are the same everywhere.
I
And
know, yeah,
tell us some anecdote about his childhood, because it was a hard life as well, a bit of
hmm,
hard life as well.
right,
Till
yes,
he
yes,
studied, but this institution was good, as you
hmm,
said.
hmm,
This
Oriental,
seminary,
hmm,
the Oriental
Oriental
Seminary
seminary,
was a great
hmm,
institution in those times in Calcutta.
yes,
So he could afford,
and
his father could afford to send him to the seminary. And in
yes, yes,
Lucknow, probably he must have learned, because in those times this was a post-Mughal period. He must have learned the Persian and other
yes,
languages which came into his person. Tell us about development of his personality. We'll talk
yes,
about this
yes.
all status as you remember the development of his personality. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, actually, his maternal uncle was very much enthusiastic person, learned
Okay.
person, and very gentleman. And he has given him the right direction how to proceed in life, in future life. And Urdu also has been taught. That is why Urdu, the language, is also
Persian.
very much Persian. Yeah. That is also very much known, very much conversant with the Persian. And when he came to Calcutta, before that, for a some period, for a short while, he was in Benares also. And at the time of living at Benares, more or less 1 year's time, he was in there. So at that time, he has learned some English also over there. So he
Okay.
has got the actually he English, Persian, Urdu, everything he knows very well, and whenever he do something, he always very much attract. Always the attraction is there in his work. That is their that is his um, uh, exceptional capability. That is after that he came to Calcutta and went to Oriental Seminary. There he proceed on in such a way that their teacher and the other their co friends, they are also very much attractive. So he became very attractive, and here he is to from family pressure. He is to got married. That is why he has to leave the Oriental Seminary to leave the study also in his early age. And after that, he joined this Sadurdhyani Adalat, and there he was going on his livelihood. But for that purpose, he is to do something other also. That is the mm, mm, uh, uh, teaching profession,
Teaching
private
profession.
coaching, private coaching. So there he one Jamindar's house. He was the teacher, and there also a few students are there, and he was teaching in that way, in his way, and he has earned something from that gentleman. Then Jamindar also very much loved him, and um,
And Haridasi,
there
probably he got married to Haridasi. There
Yes,
only
yes.
it was the daughter
Horidasi
of the
was
Zamindar.
his. Ah, yeah. He was there. He was the daughter of the Jamindar. So actually, the house in which original house in which Shambhu was living, the original portion was with the land also was offered by that jamindar at the
Okay.
time of marrying. So he was after that it has been extended, and so
He
people
married to later on pursuance, because his Kashmiri Samaj got a bit of, annoyed
yes.
with his marriage of to a Bengali
Yes,
lady.
annoyed. And 1905, before 1905, they had not accepted any but
They were very
from
conservative, aristocratic
yeah,
kind.
very conservative. Yes,
Yeah.
at that time. But Haridashi, he was so nice girl. Haridashi, he was so nice girl,
Haridas.
and he has requested Shambhunath, যে he became detached totally from Kashmir society. He has requested him, you please marry another one from Kashmir society, so that there should be the relationship with the Kashmir Samaj and
Family, because you are
Kashmir.
a Kashmiri, yeah.
Yes, yes. That is why he has married Kashmiri Swarup
Sarup
Rani.
Rani. And Sarup Rani was
Yes,
the lady. Sarup Rani.
yes,
I have
yes.
been to
He
that.
has.
I have been to that area when I was searching. I went to even one of your descendants from the Haridasi. Probably your
Uh,
cousins also. They are living there. They have a medical shop
uh,
down. I
medical
had to
shop
talk.
is there here.
I talked
Uh-huh.
to them as well. But the whole
Uh-huh.
structure, अपना मैम, would you like, आप कुछ बताएंगी? वो इतना प्यारा स्ट्रक्चर है वहां पे। तो
Hmm.
मैंने सुना है कि रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर की बांजी की भी शादी हुई है उसके बाद में, उनके बाद में। और
Uh,
वहां पे मैंने उसका स्ट्रक्चर आज भी 200 साल के बाद ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे कल की ही
हाँ,
बात है।
जो ठीक है,
और
कुछ
वहां
खराब,
पे
लेकिन
मैंने
पीछे
सुना
में
है
खराब हो
रामकृष्ण
गया।
परमहंस भी आए थे। तो आप उसके
हाँ,
बारे में थोड़ा बताइए ना, वहां की कुछ बात बताइए अबाउट, वो मुझे बहुत
मुझे
जबरदस्त
मुझे
लगता है।
ने मुझे वो बताना नहीं आती है, क्योंकि मैं उन लोग का किसी का भी कोई खबर तो नहीं जानती हूँ, क्योंकि वो
ओके।
hmm.
बहुत साल का,
वो तो 5
मैं तो
ना
जनरेशन है ना,
पुराना
4
है।
जनरेशन।
Hmm.
हाँ,
ओके।
बहुत पहला जनरेशन है।
लेकिन
बाबूजी,
आपके पापा आपको ये कहते थे कि आपकी जुबान जो
Hmm.
है वो शंभू जज बाबू की तरह चलती है, ऐसा बोलते
हाँ
थे वो।
हाँ
Hmm.
हाँ
Hmm.
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
जज बाबू की तरह चलती है।
जॉर्ज
और यस, आप सुनाइए कोई एनेक्डोट आपकी, आपके जिंदगी में, जो आप 80 इयर्स है, 80 प्लस है, तो आपके जीवन में जब आप वहां रहती थी तो वहां कैसा लगता था आपको उस एरिया में रहने में?
Good, good.
परिवर्तन तो काफी आया
बहुत
होगा।
अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा। वो बिल्डिंग का कोई
आगे।
मालूम ही नहीं है जो वो बिल्डिंग है। ठंडा में ठंडा, गर्मी में गर्मी, कभी भी मालूम नहीं होता था।
उसका डिजाइन बहुत प्यारा है। दे आर बेसिकली बेंगलोज, वो
बहुत
बेंगलोज
प्यारा।
है, पुराने बड़े बड़े
हाँ
बेंगलोज हैं। और आपको ये
हाँ,
बताया गया कि वहां पे रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर जी की बांजी की शादी हुई थी, उसके बारे में पता है आपको?
Yeah,
नहीं,
yeah.
कैसे पता होगा?
वो
No,
इनको
at
पता
that time
होगा,
he was not
दत्ता
there,
साहब को पता
but
होगा।
after that
अ,
Yeah.
we come to know
बाबूजी भी वो नहीं दिखा था।
Okay.
Sarola Devi. The name of that Bhangi is Sarola Devi. Sarola Devi.
Sorola. You call Sorola in
Huh.
Bengali, Sarla. We call
Yes.
Hindi,
Sarla.
we call Sarla. Sorola.
Yes,
Sorola
Sarla.
Devi. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
he was very.
he was a contemporary of Rabindranath Tagore's father. I heard that, we'll come to that
Yes,
later, a bit later. But
yes,
before
yes.
that, I would like to say that his entry into the law, becoming very
Hmm.
popular and one of the most proficient lawyer.
Hmm.
He also
Hmm.
became he was president of Lawyers Association
Hmm.
of Calcutta.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
there are many aspects of his personality. He was a prolific writer. He wrote many
Hmm.
journals, law journals
Yes,
also.
yes.
And
Uh-huh.
how did it happen? How did he rise to, in British colonial time? They used to hate
Hmm.
Indians, although
Yes.
Calcutta was the capital of British India,
Uh,
the winter capital of British India. But I
yeah.
don't know.
Hmm.
He must have been outstanding that the first Indian person became the native justice. Yeah,
Hmm. Ta-
Datta Sahab.
Actually, when he was in Sadordayani Adalat,
Okay,
when he joined Sadordayani Adalat, at that
okay,
time he was attracted by some higher authorities, and
okay,
there also से डिक्री जारी एक एक्ट आया है, तो उसके ऊपर इनको जो नोट था, एक नोट किया एंड बुकलेट टाइप he has written it and shows it the Barnes Peacock, who became the first কি বলবো main কি বলে he was the judge of the first High Court, that is first Calcutta High Court. He was the Chief Justice. He became the Chief Justice. So he has worked under Peacock also, what they are. So Peacock liked him like anything. And he has also inspired him. And he has written a booklet that is also very much attractive, as because in that law there are some loopholes. That is why when he shows it to him, and he praised like anything. From there it has started, and translation work also for extra income he has done in that area as well as in Bhawanipur area. There are at that time Bhawanipur area the was developing, and the vocals or practitioner was slowly leaving their that area, started living in Bhawanipur area. So after office, some translation work also he was doing, and for that purpose, that is translation. At the time of translation, he go into depth, and what is the subject he is translating. It was his much vision. He was looking after very densely and very deeply. So the actually the law things, legal things becomes very much clear to him how it is to be done. Reasonableness has been developed, and accordingly, slowly he becomes attracted in that line. Means uh, 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 legal profession.
Legal
So
profession.
yeah. So when
He
he
was
was
when they say that you have written in your book that when he was around 15 year, he was he had grown to be a very handsome. Of course, he was a Kashmiri. His features
yes,
were
yes,
there. He had a fair skin,
yes,
and
yes.
he had grown up to be a very good, jovial, honest, and affectionate
Yes,
personality to his friends. He had become
ekdam.
very popular amongst
Hmm.
all. So those were the traits
Hmm.
of an outstanding personality aspect of him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. That is there. Actually, he was very attractive for all, to all. So after that, one of his close friend, advised him, say, why you are not appearing in that exam, legal exam, so that you can be a vakil,
Hmm.
matlab lawyer. So
Lawyer.
हाँ. So at the time of Somunath, actually to become a lawyer, only some recommendation was required. He can be appeared in the exam. Exam was conducted by under British Parliament. It was there. So examination to appear from here, it is
Yes.
require some recommendation from eminent person. So some British people as well as Barnes Peacock, something like others also recommended for his character and as well as his diligence. So in that way, he has been recommended, and accordingly it has been accepted, and he appeared and he has passed. This is 1848. He has passed the legal exam.
Okay. He was 20
So
years old. 20 years old then?
28 years. At that time, he was
28.
28 years.
Okay.
At the age of his 28 years, he become the lawyer. He has got that pass certificate, and after that, he has started his profession. In profession, he was so successful due to some reason, as because personally he was interested. He is very
Hmm.
soft spoken. He knows the subject very well. He is mix up with the people was so much attractive.
At ease with the
So
people. At ease with the
yeah,
people.
yes. And over and above, actually, he knows the different languages, English, Urdu, Farsi. In that way, he becomes very much
Bengali
popular.
too.
Bengali too. He becomes very popular wakil in High Court. And actually, after that, slowly his profession was developing, and his income also very much becoming very much attractive.
I have
At
heard.
that time,
Yeah.
बताइए.
I have heard that his legal profession through a lawyer as a lawyer, he earned
Hmm.
14,000 rupees a month. But
Ah,
while as he became a judge, it was only 4,000 rupees a month. So
yes.
he had to
Yeah,
cut
I'm
short.
coming that one. I'm coming that one. When
Yes, yes.
धीरे धीरे he was the junior government pleader. After that, he became the
Yeah,
senior
he
government
was a
pleader.
senior
Uh,
government. Yeah, yeah.
Pleader. In the year 62, he becomes the senior government pleader. However, before that, 57, he becomes the junior government pleader. So in that way, his earnings, as well as he was the law professor, a newly started Hindu school, Hindu college, and there also he was getting some honorarium, but everything say around
400
15
rupees.
16,000, 15 16 400 rupees was getting. Around 15,000 16,000 rupees was total income during that period. Three-fourths of his income was committed to the development of the society, and
Okay.
it was not known to much person, very close person knows it, that actually his maximum income goes to that. Many students were who are coming from Mafasal or from outside, from Bangladesh, something like that, from outside also, who are coming, they are residing in his house, and they are actually from there they are starting their studies, and law profession, law study also they are doing from his residence. And the expenses all borne by he Somunath. That is why three-fourths of his income, you can say, has been expended to the development of those. And he was giving the cash also to somebody regularly.
You mean to say
So the
three-fourth of his income, he
yes,
gave into the philanthropy and the society.
yes, yes, yes,
That's a
yes,
great
yes.
that's a great gesture in
That is a
those
great
days.
thing.
Yeah.
At that
It's
time,
not an
that was in
ordinary
those
man.
days.
Ordinary man cannot do
Uh,
that.
no. At that time, 1 rupee में, in 1 rupee, 37 mon, 37 mon gehu
आता था.
was available, wheat was available. So at that time, this was the position. And then his income, more or less 15,000, 15,000 per month. So it is a exceptional, and his maximum earning. Uh,
Was he also a spendthrift? I heard that he in his son's marriage, he had spent
4
around
lakhs of rupees.
4 lakhs of rupees in those times. My
Yes.
goodness, that would be
In
around more than 5 crores, 7 crores, 10 crores nowadays.
yes, more than.
I mean, was it
Actually,
his
it has.
large-heartedness, or he wanted to? I mean, his
Uh,
celebration level was high, or what was it? I mean, it is very
for
unusual in those times
unusual.
spending 4 lakh rupees on his son's
That is
marriage.
that is why the coverage of newspaper, all the newspaper at that time covers that news, and 4 lakhs, and continues for 3 4 days. The occasion, that celebration was going on for 3 4 days. So it is a very exceptional, undoubtedly.
And
And
Brahmo Samaj, he was one of the pioneer who helped Brahmo Samaj
actually,
sustain.
actually,
Yeah.
he always tried to develop himself, as well as his friends should also be developed. It was his motto. He decided that one light club should be started in my own residence, so that everybody may come here and discuss about the this profession, legal affairs, and other things also, cultural also. So that arrangement, once in a week, that arrangement was in his residence. And at that time eminent person, say editor of ওই কাগজটা বলো দীনবন্ধু, বলো Patriot, Hindu Patriot, editor of Hindu Patriot, also are used to live with him like maximum time of his day was in his residence. So in that way, so many eminent person was coming in that particular day on discuss different things about the society, about the legal affairs, everything, and even to develop himself in a further way, he has a ejlas, ejlas,
Yeah.
so he arranged for ejlas also, and one is Badi, another is Vivadi. So they were arguing like that. One is judge is also there. In that way, they practice. Any topics they select, and accordingly they were arguing in that way. In that way, he has developed himself as well as his friends also developed in that way.
He was
So
a renowned
that meeting, that society has been converted after 1.5 years as this Bhavanipur Brahmo Samaj.
Bhavanipur Brahmo Samaj.
Yeah, for the first office was his residence. Actually, Devendranath Tagore, the father of Rabindranath Tagore, met him in his residence and request him that you should come with us, as because look, now the society is going down for the English English style. They were now English style. They were taking drinks, hard drinks. So the pupils, students are becoming spoiled. We should be cautious about that future generation. So Brahmo Samaj has been established in that way, and one of the pioneer was Devendranath Tagore after Ram Mohan Rai. So that Devendranath Tagore has requested him, so you please, you are doing very excellent thing, and the same motto of Brahmo Samaj, so you should work with us accordingly. So that organization has been converted into Brahmo Samaj, now named Bhavanipur Brahmo Samaj.
Bhavanipur Brahmo Samaj. I have been to that place also.
You have done person.
In my search. And
that building also, after 1.5 years, it has been built up, and accordingly, after that, it has been shifted to that place. That is Brahmo Samaj, Bhavanipur. And you will be astonished that in High Court also, Bar Association, nowadays we know Bar Association, at that time it was known as Vakil Association. He was the first president, that means founder member.
He became
he was the first president and founder member of Bar Association.
So, organized personality. He became its first president. Yeah.
Yes, first president. That's why last year the High Court has celebrated it in its 200 years celebration. High Court has celebrated very grand way, and there are at least 400 people who are there in that gathering. And that is a nice thing has been happening in the last year. So in that way,
yeah, please.
In that way, say now if you go to Bhavanipur, one market is known as Pora Bazaar. Pora means burnt, and the Bhavanipur area has been burned. Everything has been burned within a certain area.
There was a fire.
Fire, yes, total fire, and
devastation
after firing,
in the area.
Yes, devastation. And you will be astonished. At that time, he becomes the judge. Even so, he come out from his own residence also, and he has formed an organization and collected the donation from the different people, and with that rupee, with that fund, he has established that area in
renovation.
a new renovation.
Renovation.
So that is also you can say, and he has donated lots of money over there. In that way, in every way, he was
He was
associated with the people.
he was a perfect.
And even
But
even if you say the Shamboo Nath Pandit Hospital, you had seen the Shamboo Nath Pandit Hospital. I think so. A photograph is also there. You have advertised this, no?
yeah, yeah.
So there is also a burned section. You had there in your advertisement is there. So there was a dispensary. That dispensary also was founded by Shamboo Nath Pandit, and he regularly sit over there in the afternoon after his office hours before becoming judge. So that is going on accordingly. Slowly it was increasing, and over sitting over there, he was thinking that nearby there is a hospital, PG hospital, that was only open for the Britishers, not the natives. No natives can be treated over there. So it was very shocking to him. He discussed this issue to different people, and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar also was there. Pyari Charan Sarkar, they are
There
all
was a
eminent person at that
German
time.
German musician also. German musician.
Yes, ha,
Yeah.
ha, 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 ha. Correct you are. So actually, so he has accordingly slowly his thought was there that actually whether it can be one hospital can be for the natives can be started here on. But he died only in the year 47th of
Yeah, very
47
young.
years old,
47 is a
very
very
young.
yeah.
So he can't do some much thing, but his ideas was there. At the condolence meeting when it was going on, many person has Mr. Locke was a reputed judge for High Court,
Of the
and
Kolkata High
like
Court,
that
Mr. Locks. Yeah.
Kolkata High Court. And Kolkata at that time, the area of Calcutta High Court was huge. Lucknow, Allahabad, Delhi, up to Delhi. Either Pura, Patna, Pura under this Calcutta. There were three high
Calcutta
courts
was
and
the capital. It
Sadodian.
was the capital city of British Raj.
Not that was that was their capital. British came after that. When
Acha.
British Parliament rulers become after 87.
Rulers
So
after 87.
actually, yes. Before that, it is under East India Company. They they were looking after the
East India
law and
Company
order issue also.
was a prelogue to British coming. It was a preface for British coming.
Yes,
They came for
1600.
100 years and 100 years rule. After that,
No,
100 years
no,
they rule.
above that, he came here in the year 1600 around. So 1600. So at that time, they actually started from Surat, western part, but there is no actually they couldn't do much better over there. So he slowly became towards east, and ultimately they landed in this area, eastern region, and Calcutta selected Calcutta, as because they have received three villages named Calcutta, Sultanati, and Govindpur. Three villages he has acquired from the British to not British, no, Mughal Badshah,
Emperor.
Mughal emperor. Only three village they have got, and they are the ruler Jamindar's life. They are the ruler
Yeah.
becomes ruler over their three villages. Slowly they are after that 1857 or something. So they had defeated the
1857.
French also. So Boxer में जो माने actually in Boxer when own they Boxer fight माने with the
Battle,
French
battle, battle.
battle. So
They gradually,
at that
gradually
time
came. First, they
gradually
came
they
as the
they
merchants and gradually took the entire thing. And
actually
after mutiny, they became more organized and more
more organized,
got their own machinery.
uh,
Anyway,
they are very much
I would like to go to the
again
Bhawanipur
yes.
Bangalore's.
Ah,
I have heard that this man Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa had also been to his
yes.
residence at
Yes,
Bhawanipur.
Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev also
Vivekananda ji
once
is Guru.
visited, once
Yeah.
yes, once visited over there, once. However, it is very much attractive also. However, so it is a fact. So
And
is going on.
what
Hmm.
about his? I have heard that not many people, even as a judge, not
Hmm.
many British judges, they always wrote great stories and great respect to the Justice
Yes, yes,
Shamboo Nath Pandit because of
yes,
his
yes.
gentleness, knowing his job well, rationality, brilliance, and character. And
And
all talk
you
about
you
character.
will be, I am coming. You will be astonished at the
Yeah.
very first day joining as a judge. First day, first decision he has taken, one decision which has been taken by one British judge beforehand. As a district judge, he has taken one decision. He has turned down that decision. It was his
Oh,
first. Ah,
so he was a
it was his.
revolutionary. He was also a
Yes,
revolutionary person.
revolutionary, revolutionary. And the main thing is that he was very much reasonable. He is not the pro. We are telling that he is pro. He is pro. He is
No, it's
not
not
pro
pro.
to somebody. No,
Rational,
he was
rational.
not pro. Ah, he was very much rational. So everybody respect him like that. And especially Chief Justice liked him very much. And when Michael Madhusudan applied for, at the time application should be there to the Chief Justice
Michael
for
Maksudan
allow
was a great
him
personality.
to
Great personality. Very
allow
popular.
him to be a vakil of that Sadar Devani Adalat or High Court. But it has been turned down as because recommendation is required to the Chief Justice. It has been applied to the Chief Justice, but the recommendation of two British judge was very much reluctant to say about him that he is very competent person. So it becomes very much difficult to become a lawyer in High Court. So what he has done, Somnath, he has advised Michael, you please meet Ishwarchandra Vidyasagar. I will also tell him. Accordingly, he also requested him Vidyasagar, and also Michael also visit him, and other two people, eminent people also from Calcutta. They all write about Michael Madhusudan Datta, and which has been submitted to Chief Justice. And personally, Somnath Pandit also, that two judges, they were reluctant. He went with him and meet him and actually request him and convinced them, and they also recommended his name. After
His name.
that, he received. So actually the Michael Madhusudan Datta was also very much respectful to Somnath. In that way, if you in a story, you will get different kinds of story. Say Govinda Prasad Pandit, he was also
Govinda
a
Prasad.
Pandit. He was also Pandit. He was the Jamindar of Raniganj. Raniganj, you know, near Durgapur, before Durgapur, Raniganj,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Rani Ganj, I know.
Raniganj. He was the Jamidar of that area. There he went there and he went there and purchased one small kuthi, matlab small building with the big tank. Fishing, but ailing is his hobby, one of the hobby. Actually,
Hobby.
he was a hobby. His one hobby is that too. Fishing is the one hobby in that way. So he actually what happened? He whenever he angling he was doing, he thought about the different issues which should be thought over, and he was thinking. But actually, this was in his hand also to look after what is going on there. But the main object, Jutha, that is the actually thinking yourself, thinking himself. In that way, he has also very much acquainted with the that angler, and he has seen actually one group has also been created by him for this fishing purpose, and he has purchased a few tanks over Calcutta with a small building, and he constructed those building as well as they constructed the ponds also, and they were at the weekend they visited that place and like a picnic they were enjoying it as well as they were fishing also over there. In that way, that is his hobby. You can say it is his hobby.
Hobbies.
In
And
that way,
what were
enjoying
the
also.
who were the contemporary personalities? I know about Michael Maksudan. He was a great theaterist, a
Uh-huh.
personality very wide. Tell me
Actually,
some more people about
you
his
know,
times.
I have already said about Devendranath Tagore and
Rabindranath Tagore
Dinabandhu
was
Mitra.
Tagore's father,
Yeah, yeah,
Rabindranath Tagore's
yeah.
father.
Dinabandhu Mitra. He is also a writer, very eminent writer in Bengal, and that is the chief editor of কি জানো? Hindu Patriot,
Hindu patriot,
named
which
Hindu Patriot, named
Harvish Shamunath also
no,
wrote for Hindu patriot.
Horish
Yeah,
Horish Mukherjee. There is a road
Harish
in his
Mukherjee.
name also in Calcutta. Horish Mukherjee was very close to him. Other, also Bethune, Mr. Bethune, the name of Bethune. He was the founder of Bethune College. He was the
Okay.
secretary of the particular education secretary on the part of
Ladies,
the
ladies education.
on the part of the Britishers. So in that way, he was very liked the natives also, and he has tried to his level best to develop the educational system in Bengal, especially. And he has started one college named Bethune College. Now it is going on. It is a very good college for female, and there are 20 20
Hmm.
students has been first admitted, got into admission, but out of that 20, the reluctancy was there in general in society. So 7 has been after that withdrawn, and the 13 remain. First started with 13 students only, and with that 13 students, one was Maluti, the daughter of Shamboo Nath Pandit.
Are.
Hello.
Yes,
Huh.
yes.
That is also, and after that, actually Bethune Society, there is a society named Bethune Society. He was the founder member of that particular society. He was the vice president of the society till his death, and he was actively associated with that society. In that way, and at the British rule, say actually they were hating the native people. Still, what happens? Shambhunath has been accepted by them as a judge. So in 1887, 57, the Sipahi mutiny. At the time of Sipahi mutiny, can you hear me? It is sound is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm
Okay,
hearing.
okay.
Perfect.
Uh-huh. So
I would like to say one
after,
thing before
uh,
Datta Sahab. I'd like to say one
yes,
thing. I'll just like, Mr. L. Doyen, British advocate,
Doyen.
who was
Yes,
long
yes,
acquainted
Doyen.
with Shamboo Nath, he had
Yes,
said
uh,
that
yes,
he
yes,
had never come into contact with any other person who was as
uh,
truthful, as
yes, yes,
fearless, simple,
yes,
and dependable
uh,
as Shamboo Nath.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
what was this character? What was this character thing which everybody talks about, that Shambhunath
Uh,
had a character? Normally, with any personality, we use it as a sub adjective, but here I am seeing that at Shambhunath, it is being used
mm,
as the main adjective. That his character was something which was,
uh,
I mean,
very
uncomparable,
much
which was
attractive,
unblemishable,
uncomparable.
which was
Actually,
something very colossal, very
yes,
different,
yes,
very towering.
yes.
What tell us something about this character part? What this
Actually,
character? Yeah.
actual basic character, if you say, he was sincere, he was honest, he was diligent. Actually, he was hard worker. He was acceptable to all as because he never abused. His servant also never abused by him in
Oh,
his residence as well as outside also. So everybody, and whenever there is any fault from anybody, he always, he was not revoking, he was convincing. Don't do
oh,
that. One thing is there, I would say, that one of his disciples residing in his residence and actually learning this law profession from his residence, but once he heard that disciple is going to be a Baptist. So
okay.
then and there he asked him, he is a out and out Hindu. So he has asked him, why? you are converting yourself into Baptist. So he was not going arguing. He was arguing, but not going the positive side. So he is always trying that this is the positive side of Hinduism, but in which you are belonging. That is there. There are so many things you can learn from it, and here from here also you can learn about the Christian dharma also. So no harm in it. You can learn from that, but you
There
cannot.
is no necessity to convert
You should not be. You should not be convert yourself into Baptist. But
because
he is not convinced.
you are already in a very colossal field. Already, all these things
Ah,
are here. You,
so he said, you okay, you can reside here, but actually, I think our way is different. Our mode of mode of
living
life
tradition,
is different.
culture is different.
After that, he has left his residence. So this he in that way he never. I had not seen anywhere that somebody is telling about him against his character, against his character. Nobody only down, but also the different person. In my books, you will find that there are so many person who has said about him, and everybody giving some stories, and actually they are so convinced about him that they are taken him respectful man, and actually very honest and sincere.
He was helping to the poor. I heard that he was
Yes,
helping to the poor, and he was a great nationalist, Indian nationalist, great
young Indian
patriot,
nationalist. Yes,
great
yes, yes,
patriot. He never
yes.
feared British, or he was not under
No,
the domination. He
no,
didn't
no,
work under the
no.
sycophancy of British. He was
Yes,
unlike those sycophants. He was a
yes.
very real who believed in his own qualities, and he was a lover of Indian nation, and he was a patriot
Yes,
Indian.
ekdom.
That's so great about that gentleman.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Another
I
thing also there is an
Yeah.
organization that is the Jamindars Association here in Bengal. They were looking at the interest of interest of Jamindars, and as well as another group was there. They were generally the only white Jamindar that should be for all. They are also looking after the for better for other people also. So there was to some extent, uh, uh, to some extent, views differ कर रहे थे. So at the
Okay.
time he also be a member of that organization, and he becomes the secretary or editor of their publication. One publication was there. That publication named. Uh,
He had a lot many
uh,
publications to his credit, and they are very valuable to the law
Ha
and
ha 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 ha.
to the
No,
law
that is there. In other Hindu patriot, he was regular writer. He was
about the
writing essays.
decree. He has written about the decree and other things,
Yes.
and
Now decree
many
to,
many.
that has been accepted. He has changed it, and which was in vogue. That has been changed accordingly as per his recommendation, as per his book. It has been changed. Not only that, Partnership Act nowadays, what we know, that is also has been changed by him to some extent. He has written on the Partnership Act also, and it has been accepted to some extent. And Partnership Act बहुत पुराना, very old Partnership Act. So it has also been there are many points which have been accepted from his right. In that way, if I like to say that, that will be a very, in my books there are so many
Yeah, it's a wonderfully
version.
calibrated.
Yeah,
You have written
wonderfully.
those
Ah,
concepts, those anecdotes, those
yes,
paragraphs.
yes,
It's a
yes,
beautiful book.
yes. Ah.
And
So in that,
before, I mean, we can go on and on this
hmm,
subject. There will be no
hmm.
end to it. But since we are coming closer to time as well, we started a bit
Ah,
late, so our main audience is
yes,
missing
yes.
now today. Maybe
Okay,
they look
okay,
it
okay.
after, but I will like to add your audience as well. I'll send you the
Ah,
link,
okay,
and your
okay,
audience connected. And they can write on the YouTube or on the Facebook group. So,
okay,
first of all, I would like to say that finally his departure was because he, at the young age of 47, He left this
Hmm.
world, and I heard that
Yes.
he was a very spiritually elevated person as well, not religious but spiritually elevated person as well.
Yes.
That he
Yes.
understood and knew that now his time has come. So
Yes.
he recited some Brahmo, his masters, whatever it was, and tell us
Hmm.
something about his departure and aftermath. After his
Hmm.
departure,
Uh,
there was a great
Actually,
condolences. Yeah,
yes, great condolence. I have already stated that
you
in
already
that
explained
meeting
about that.
there is a committee formed. That is a committee, and in that committee, Shachandra like that eminent person, all eminent person was that in that committee, and in that committee it has been discussed. Condolence meeting, open session. They have discussed his willingness also that there should be something should be native. It has been discussed. So some contribution or subscription should be there. Instantly in that particular meeting, instantly around 25,000 rupees at that time it has been collected in that meeting. And out of that, some oil sketch has been done by him, and that is a very precious oil sketch. It is lying in now Calcutta High Court. It is in Chief
His tell
Justice.
yeah.
Ah,
Tell me about his children, his legacy. One from
okay, children.
Sarup Rani
One
and
is
one
Maloti.
from
One
yeah,
is Maloti. You know, Maloti is the first wife's daughter, and
yeah,
he has been given married in Lucknow itself. Sapru family, I should say Sapru.
Safru,
You know, Sapru family.
Safru, yeah.
Other than this, I do not know anything about
No, you
Maloti.
said their one son, Sarup Rani's one son, he rose to very higher position. He did
I'm
his
coming. I
post-graduation.
am coming to
Yeah,
Swaruprani. After before that, I am coming to Horidashi. Horidashi has got two
Haridasi,
sons.
yeah, yeah.
Horidashi has got
Had two sons.
elder one is Govinda Prasad, and Shankar Nath is the second one, younger one. And Shankar Nath was the founder member of Arya Samaj in Calcutta. Arya
Oh,
Samaj. He was the vice president of Arya Samaj in Calcutta at the time of at its foundation. And there is a book, there is a biography on this on his life, published by Arya Samaj itself.
like his
And
father, he was like his father.
like his father, he has written 26 of books. Out of that, 10 is in English, and reciting 16 is in Bengali. So 26 books. In his residence, also there is a printing press, and from where Arya Samaj's everything was published, was printed from that printing press only. And Sarola Devi's
Sarup Rani,
marriage, Sarola
okay.
Devi, Rabindranath
The
Tagore's
Tagore's
Bhanjari,
niece. Okay,
his also marriage conducted by him in his residence. This
okay.
is the position of Shankar Nathji. And in other way now, Sarup Rani. Sarup
Sarup
Rani,
Rani.
the eldest son is, that is Pranonathji. Pranonath.
Pranath,
Pranonath.
Pranath, Pranunath.
Pranonath. Pranonath. Pranonath.
Pranath we
Pranonath.
call in Kashmiri, and Bengali you say Pranunath.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
Pranonath. And actually, Pranonath was the MA in Sanskrit, and he was so
makes sense.
brilliant. He has been offered a title named Saraswati. So he is
Saraswati,
called Pranonath Saraswati. He is the elder son of
Sarupani.
Sarupran. She has got other three also. Two were the Saraswati and Mohini.
Okay,
Saraswati and Mohini. Actually, details of those I have not worked out, and as well as I have not received anything. And youngest son is Vishwambarnath.
Vishambhar.
Vishwambarnath. These
The
are the four children.
Pranath was also a corporator. He was into
Yes,
administration. Yeah,
he was
became
the
a corporate
commissioner. He was the commissioner of Calcutta Corporation. He
commissioner of
died
Calcutta.
only his age. Yes, he has died only 37 years of age.
Oh my,
Only
very young
37.
age.
Yes, very young age. In his name, there is a road also in Calcutta, Pranonath Lane. There is
Pranunath.
name in his, yes, Pranonath. He is very, eminent person in Calcutta, especially. So this is the way, in a way, this is the next generation.
Thank you, thank you.
About.
I think
Thank you.
we must call it a day because it is an endless story. We're
It
waiting
can
for the
be.
second book, and
It
I
can
must
be.
suggest everyone that it is because of their magnanimity at this age. They had to stand at a 1.5 hour, and they have to go back to the memory lane, and because they have worked very hard. What they have done, no Kashmiri, our community member, nobody, even Sarup Rani's family, no one has tried to die. Tankha and other
Yes.
Saprus were there,
Tankha,
and there
yes,
are
yes.
people in Lucknow. I would try to contact them as well. But I think this is
Yes,
a
you
great
please.
learning that at least they created all the story of the ancestors to the present
Yeah,
of Shamboo
yeah,
Nath
yeah.
Pandit, who was Kashmiri and Bengali as well, and Kashmiri
Hmm.
by birth and Bengali by his upbringing, by
By
his because
Karm.
both were his
Yes.
motherlands, and India
Hmm.
was his motherland. Ultimately, he was an Indian
Yes,
son of
ultimately,
Mother
yes.
India, and
Yes.
I think such topics, such personalities should be known to
Hmm.
all. We are all used to the superficial thing, and I
Hmm.
think today people should have waited at least. This was my
Yes.
request. People should have waited.
Uh,
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a great. It will go to our archives. It will be available on the YouTube. In future, I'll see that Sarup Rani site. I'll see that Sarup Rani site and some Kolkata
mhm.
Kashmiri
Hmm.
Pandit Sabha. They are also organizing. They told me that they
Hmm.
will call me also. They are also organizing some big festival about Shamboo Nath Pandit. Maybe because of
Yes,
COVID,
yes.
they could not. And
For this COVID
we'll
situation. Hmm.
see the other cousins as well, as we'll try to search them in Lucknow and bring them
Hmm.
also along their part of the story, how they felt.
Right.
But at present, I think what biggest contribution to the Shambhunath is this book by his great
Hmm.
granddaughter, who is just in the studio with us, and
Hmm.
her
Thank you.
husband, AC Datta Saab. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You came.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
our
you.
great
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I'm always
Thank you, the
delighted.
viewers. Hmm.
Thanks for. And I'll send you the link.
Thank you, the viewers who are
Thanks.
waiting this 2 hours more or less. They want to have.
They're very viewers because viewers
Thank you very
normally
much.
join at
Yes.
7 p.m. but they missed it, so they thought that
Yes.
program is not coming. Very little
Hmm.
viewers right now, but with the
Yes.
evening, people will again start revisiting this. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay.
All the best.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
What they
Okay.
say
All
in
right.
Bengali,
Thank you.
Balobashi,
Namaste.
ভালোবাসি
Namaste.
নমস্কার
Namaste, Pranam,
নমস্কার নমস্কার
Namaskar, Pranam. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
sir. Thank you.
So that was AC Datta and Chudamani Datta, the great granddaughter of Shambhunath Pandit, the first native judge, first Indian native judge in the British ruled, British colonized India. I mean, he rose to the capacity and became the justice because of his virtue of his qualities, his knowledge, his capacities, his everything. And it was just their understanding because of his upbringing, his knowledge, his legacy as a Kashmiri, and later on his Karambhumi, Bengal, where he grew with such a great traits that even the British could not resist him, and he was always praised by everyone, and he was a great philanthropist, he was a great reformist, he was a great writer. He wrote many chronicles of the law for the students of the law. He was a man who even drew around 14,000 of salary at that point of time. He earned 14,000 from his lawyership, and later on he drew a salary of 4,000 as a judge. And he is even spent. He had become so rich by the grace of God that even he spent around 4 lakh or 7 lakh rupees on his sons. But at the end of the day, he was a giver. He gave to the society, he gave to the Indians. He didn't accept a hegemony of the British. The day first he occupied the chair of the judge, he reverted the order of the previous British judge. So that was his confidence, his level, the great son of the soil, great Indian, great Kashmiri by origin. So I would like to read one line written by this Su- Suraduni Kabya, Dinabandhu Mitra, portraying Shambhunath as, it's a beautiful line. Our countryman, Justice Shambhunath, sits at High Court on the sacred throne of judgment. Our countryman, Justice Shambhunath, sits at High Court on the sacred throne of judgment. A man calm and meek, through in judgment razor sharp, as quietly composed as Yudhishthir, and as lovely as Kandrappa. With that beautiful note, I would like to attribute to the Shamboo Nath, the first native judge of Indian origin and Indian great sons of India. I would like to close today's program. Thank you very much. Next Sunday, we are having a very, very eminent personality. We are going to tell you, unravel the story of one of the great actors, Kashmiri actor from classical cinema, narrated by his own son. I won't disclose his name right now, and it would be a very, very thrilling and experiencing journey. But I have got one sad thing about it is that today, at least, I wanted that most of us would come to this wonderful program on Shambhu Nath Pandit, and they were the old people. They had the capacity, and it was their magnanimity. They came despite of their problems of internet and other issues. They are in their mid 80s. They came and they sustained and they endured this sitting. But I wish that all of us should have been here. We all should not look for the superficial superlatives. I don't think that is justified of a community to which we have the great pioneers like Shambhunath Pandit himself. With that, I wish you all the best. It's a great pleasure to be with all of you. I'm to all the esteemed spectators of this program. Thanks a lot. Good night.